Going? Okay, so this is a tutorial on how to sharpen skates. The first thing is to check if your skates are dull. So your skates are going to be dull if you go like this with your fingers and you don't feel a grip. You can definitely feel in the front half of the skate if it feels less sharp than the back of the skate, because usually the back of the skate will feel sharp and the front of the skate will feel more dull. That's how you can tell the difference, because the skater skates on the more or less the front of the skate. Okay, so these skates are dull. So this is a jig that I'm going to use. I use a Stay Bent frame.com jig. It's a great jig. So you have these guides. First thing you do is take these guides off. Okay, and then you need to stick the skates in. So putting the left skate on the right side, which is facing up, taking the right skate and putting it on the left side, and facing it up. Then I'm putting these guides back in. And you want to screw this all the way down. Okay, and then the next thing we do is we take the skate, we lift up so it's hitting these little knobs right here, and right here. And then we can tighten, and we want to pull the skate all the way back because there's this little backstop right here. Okay, we want the skate all the way back to the backstop and all the way up. So all the way back and all the way up. And then you can start tightening these up. So I tighten up the front first, and not all the way tight, just like partially tight. And I do the back. So partially tight, and do both sides. So now I'm gonna make it real tight. Okay, now I'm gonna do the other skate. So lift up and back, all the way back. I'm gonna tighten this up. By doing this, you're making sure your skates are at the same level. Okay, both front to back and side to side. That's what this jig does. It makes the skates perfectly level. And I always work on the floor. I never work on a table, okay? Because I want to be on a flat surface. It's really important that you're working on a flat surface. If the jig is sitting like this or like this, you're going to screw up your skates. So you want to be sitting on a flat surface. That's why I always do this on the floor. So now we can take the guides off. And take the first guide off. I'm gonna take the second guide off. And now it's time for the sharpening stone. These are my sharpening stones. I use Nagano sharpening stones. I bought this from CBC, Carpenter Boot Company. Okay. Parker Speed Skating Club, I believe it's 10 or 15% off. There's 2 stones in here. Okay, so there's the black side is has the heaviest grit. Then the blue is a little bit lighter. Red is a little bit lighter, and yellow is the lightest. So his skates are they're not that bad. They're not in that bad a shape. So technically, I could start with probably the blue and not the black. So I'm going to do that. So you set this down, the sharpening stone down. Okay. The key when doing this. This is the most important part probably of the process. The key when doing this is you never want to tilt your sharpening stone this way or this way. You want it perfectly flat, okay? And you don't want to push down on the stone. You just move the stone front to back, okay? Okay, so I'm gonna move the stone front to back. And sometimes when I do this, okay, it's okay to move the stone a little bit like this when you're doing it. Okay, you just do not, again, want the stone to go like this or like this. The whole idea is to grind the bottom of the blades down perfectly flat. Okay, so I do a count. I'm gonna count to 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, okay? And then I flip this over. just in case I accidentally put a little bit of pressure on this side while I was doing it, I always flip it over and do another 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, so now I'm gonna check for a burr. So you need a burr in order to know that you're taking metal off the top. And right now I do not feel a burr there. I do not feel a burr there. I feel a burr on the outside here on this skate. I feel a slight burr on the outside here. So that means the inside of his blades are worn. And so we need to take the metal down far enough. So the inside of his blades are basically like this. And as I'm moving the stone, I'm cutting down this part of the blade. And I want to cut it down far enough so it makes this flat, okay? So I got to cut some more. All right, I'm gonna do 50 and 50 now. 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. All right, so I did 50 on that side. I'm gonna flip it over. I'm gonna do 50 on the other side. I should have a burr on all 4 edges of the blade. That's 10. $20. That's 30. That's 40. That's 50. All right. So I got a good, you can hear it. I got a good burr here. Okay. I still don't have a burr on the inside. Oh, got a burr there. I got a good burr on the outside again. I still don't have a burr on the inside. So what that means, I'm actually gonna switch over to the black so I can take more metal off, because we're not getting that burr as quickly as I'd like to see. So I'm gonna flip this over. I'm gonna do 25 and 25 with the black side of the stone. All right, I did 30. I'm gonna flip it over. I'm gonna do 30. All right, we're starting to get a burr on the inside now. Okay, I'm gonna do 20 and 20 one more time. Oh, we gotta flip it over. right, that's 20, 20 and 20. All right, I got a good burn on the inside there. All right, I got a good burn on the inside there. So I got burrs on both sides. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my finest stone, which is the yellow, okay? And I'm just gonna run it over like 20 times each side to kind of give it a little bit of a polish. All right, we're gonna do the other side. Again, this is a finer stone to give it a little bit of a polish. Okay, and then we even have a polished stone. This is considered a polished stone right here. Okay, I'm gonna do this real quick for 20 times. And this will actually help Liam glide better in his race. The polished stone doesn't really cut much. It just kind of gets away the, makes the metal more smooth, turns it to like a mirror. And there's even finer polishing stones than this. Okay, so I would say that's done. And yep, got double check for that burr. Feels good to me. All right, so now I'm gonna pop them out. I'm gonna take the skates out of the jig. Now we're gonna deburr them. All right, so we got the skates out. And so now we're deburring the skates. And so what that basically means is when we took metal off the top, it created this burr that went this way, okay? Now we're gonna take a deburr stone, and this is what I like to use is a deburr stone. It has a little angle on it, okay? The stone has an angle on it. And what we want to do is we want to take this little burr that's kind of hanging over the edge here and we want to cut it off, okay? So deburring, you know, depending on how often you do this, you got to get used to doing it and you got to put a decent amount of pressure. And the key is when you're deburring, you never roll the stone this way. You never roll the stone this way. You always keep the stone perfectly flat to the blade. Always, okay? If you roll the stone, you're just gonna make your blades dull and you're gonna ruin your blades. So, all right, so I'm gonna take the stone, I'm gonna go really, really flat here, and I'm cutting that burr off. Usually I like to sit in a chair while I'm doing this. It's easier for me when I'm sitting on a chair. All right, so that's the left outer. That's actually the most important edge. And that skate is sharp. All right, so I'm gonna do the same thing to all four edges. I'm gonna do this edge real quick. I'm putting down a lot of pressure and I'm holding the stone like this with my fingers. Okay, and the stone's perfectly flat. I'm not curling the stone over. You can stop recording.